Hi, my name is DaCosta-Walker. I am a business and computer studies educator at St. Catherine High School, a JTC trained mentor, illustrator, and Heart NST instructor. For today's session, we're actually going to be looking at outlining the purpose of the e-portfolio as well as how to create the e-portfolio on Google Sites. So what exactly is the e-portfolio? The e-portfolio basically outlines your journey as a teacher, the things that you have done over the years or over the year since you have become a teacher. It includes your methods and strategies that you have used in the teaching and learning process, the things that you have done to contribute to your school, your students, your community, among other things. It basically showcases your professional conduct. You can use the e-portfolio if you want to gain higher level of employment in your workforce or even in different aspects of ministry or other places. Now, most portfolios include a wide range of evidence from different sources to back up your work ethics. So you will recognize that we're doing the e-portfolio for or appraisal. And so the appraisal have different guiding principle. And so you're going to be putting up evidence for each of the guiding principle and to support you getting different credits under the different guiding principles. Now, before you can actually start out your e-portfolio, the first thing to do is to gather the evidence. Have a folder on your computer and store all your evidence, upload them in your different emails. Ensure that you actually have your evidence. Scan what is necessary to be scanned, all the sources. The next thing is to actually decide on a color scheme. What is it you're going to be using throughout to maintain that consistency? So is it a yellow with a little blue? What is it you're going to be using? What colors would you be using throughout and to maintain that consistency as you do your e-portfolio? Now, later on in the video, we'll be looking at how you can actually search online for color palettes and the X codes that you can actually use to know the colors and use them as you create your banners. The next thing is to actually create a Gmail account, especially for the site. We don't want to use our MOE's emails. One of the reasons is because it won't allow for you to share or give ownership or add persons outside of the MOE domain to your site if you want to collaborate with anyone at any point. So it's best to have a personal email that you use. Do not use the one that you have been using for your cell phone or for your personal everyday activity, because that one is going to be already full. And so you need a brand new one to start to collate all that you have. Now, once you are through with that, I'm saying there's some useful tools that you can use for screen recording, graphics, animated films, as well as video editors that you can actually use. And the main one for majority of them would be Canva. Now, that's a free site that you can go on and you can actually complete your design for your banners, your headers, and whatever you want to create, you can actually use Canva for. But there are others, just look through and you will see. Or you are going to need a color scheme so that your e-portfolio can be aesthetically pleasing. So whatever you create, your buttons, your banners, your teaching experience, anything that you're doing that will require a design, you will be consistent with the colors that you use. So I'm going to be looking at Google for a color palette and I need the hex code for them. So I'm just going to write color palette X and then I'm going to press enter to search for it. Now, a lot of them will come up and you can select the one that you like. I'm just going to go straight to images and look for a palette that I like. Now, the first one that I saw is here, quite simple to find, this one. But once I click on it, it's going to be a little bit too small for me to actually see the codes. So I'm going to visit the actual site. Once I visit the site, because I'm going to be using it consistently, I can go ahead and bookmark that page so that later on I can find it much easily. But I'm just going to scroll down for now and look for the one that I like the most. Now, I like these colors, this combination. So you can use black and white with it. Now, I want to point out that this Xcode is, the first two is actually red, the second two digit would be green, and the third two digit would be your blue. So that's RGB. So for persons who are familiar with Photoshop or any form of design in graphics, you will know what these colors are used for. So a combination of your red, your green, and your blue will give you any color that is there. If it is 6Fs, then that would be white. And if it's 60, then that would be black. So I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to note the color. So I'm going to work with this one. So it's FF60A8. So if you bookmark it, you don't have to worry, but I'm just noting it so that I can use it. So I'm just going to go over to a design that I'm working with. Wherever I click, you will see the color comes up, or I'm going to click on the background and go to the background color to maintain the color scheme. Now I can type in the Xcode that I got earlier here, or if I know the color by name, I can type it in here. But having the code is much more effective because you'll get the right shade that you want. Or you can actually use, these are colors that are here already, or you can click on the add new color. You can hover over and drag and select your colors. You can type it in here, or you can pick the color from other areas in your design. But now I'm just going to type in the code that I just wrote. So that's FF60A8, and here it is. So I can click on it. If I hover over it, you would see the code, as well as there are other palettes that you can use, a combination of colors to get your design done. So this is Canva, one of the online free platform that I mentioned earlier on that can be used to create your different things for your portfolio. So you don't have to use text throughout. So let's say you want to write guiding principle 5, you don't want to just write that using just plain text. You can create your posters, your flyers, your banners that you can use on your e-portfolio. And one of the things that I would also say is to remain consistent throughout, using the same design color scheme as you go through. So that's how you would actually use and select your color scheme based on the different palettes. In my email. So what I'm going to do is go towards my Google Apps, click on that, and I'm going to look through for the drive. So I'm going to click on drive. It's going to open a new window. Now, why am I doing this? Before I even start my portfolio, it is essential to have folders within my G drive to have all the files that I will need for each GP, my evidence. Now, images can easily be inserted from my computer while I am creating the e-portfolio. But when I want PDFs or videos or any other format or extension, I will need to have them in my drive in order to insert them onto the page. And so I'm going to go about creating that folder in the drive so I can place everything in it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to show you how to create the file. You can drag files and folders to your drive here to add them, or you can right click. Once you right click anywhere within this region, you will actually have the option to select new folder, file upload, folder upload. Now what I would be doing is just click on new. When you click on new, you will see the same information. Folder, you want a new folder here in your drive. File upload is when you want to upload a file from your computer. And folder upload is if you want to upload an entire folder from your computer. So sometimes you have all of the information in a guiding principle folder on your computer, you just upload the entire folder. But if it's just a one file or two file, then we select file upload. So I'm going to go ahead and select folder.
once I click on that, it's going to give me the option to rename my folder. So this is going to be my portfolio materials. Once I'm through, I'm going to select create. It is going to create that folder for me. Now, this folder that I've created, it has not given anyone, I've not given anyone the privilege to actually access the files that will be in it. So that's the first thing that I'm going to show you to do after you have created your folder. Now, this can be done afterwards, but you don't want it to be that is when you're in the middle of what you're doing, you remember that, hey, you know, or after you have shared the link, you have said, oh, I have not shared the files on the portfolio to anyone. So I'm just going to do from the get-go, from the first step. So I right click on the folder, and the second thing that I see is share. So I'm going to select share. It is going to give me the information as to who has access to this folder, and I can share it with specific individuals. So if I go to writing, let's take that off caps lock. So let's say I go in and I write Gina Mullins at Gmail. Now, once it's authenticated that this is an actual email, it will list out ones that are similar to it. And so I'm going to select Gina Mullins. So I can, because I'm sharing my entire portfolio with her, folder with her, she can be an editor to this set of files. So she can also be a viewer, so she can only see things that are there. She can comment on them, or she can organize, add, and edit the files that I have placed into this folder. Now, let's say I'm working with her as a team, as I'm doing, I'm just going to let her be an editor. Send her a message, and the notify person or people option is that once I send this off, she will get an email notifying her that I have shared this folder with her. So I can decide not to notify her, but she will see the folder in her G Drive nonetheless. So I can write the message, send it off, and for now I'm canceling it. Now, for the general access, I want whatever file I put on my ePortfolio, persons can actually see those files, PDF files or video files, anything that I'm putting up. I want them to have access to it, and they don't have to be asking me to share, which defeats the purpose. So I go to beside the restrict, click on the little arrow, and anyone with the link. So I'm going to change that. Now, anyone on the internet with the link can view the files that are within this folder. So I'm just going to leave it as viewer and press done. Now, once that is through, you will realize that a small little icon of a person is actually on the folder. So you know that everything within the folder will be shared. So I'm then going to create my individual GP folder, guiding principle folder. So I double tap on the portfolio material folder, and I am going to drop a file, or I can click on the new button. So I'm going to click new folder. So I'm just going to write GP1, guiding principle 1. Wait until it's create. Again, new GP2. GP3, new GP4, new again. I'm just creating all 6 folder. So, and then the last one is going to be GP6. Create. All right, so as you can see, GP4 is out of the order. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 is all the way down here, 5, and then 6. Reason being is how I named the file. All of them were consistent with a space after the GP. So all I need to do is right click, select rename, and then I can adjust. Okay. So all of my folders are created, and if you look, you see that they're also shared. So anything that I place within them can be viewed. All right. the folders as indicated before, but I want a special folder to have all of the homepage materials that I will be adding to my ePortfolio. So that particular folder is on my desktop. So I'm just going to go and look for it and upload the entire folder. I'm hoping you remember the steps. So I go on new, folder upload, and then it should prompt me to select where that folder is actually at. So my window is up, select folder to upload. Now I'll select my desktop. Once on my desktop, that's in my BTE portfolio, and then I have my home page folder. So it's not a single file that will be uploaded, it's the entire folder. So it's homepage, and I'm going to select upload. Now it will ask me if I trust the site that I'm uploading it to and the amount of files that are within the folder. So I'm going to select upload. It will take some time, maybe a couple of seconds to actually upload everything. So it is finished uploading 8 of 8 files, and I'm going to close. So I can open it. So once I open it, you will see all the files that I have in that folder. So these were created using Canva. So most of the graphics that you will see on the portfolio, we actually use Canva to create them because it is easy to work with and it gives you a variety of things that you can use. So one thing I realized is that I had a file that is not in the home page folder. So I'm just going to go ahead. Again, I can click anywhere to upload it, but I will just use new file upload. So it's going to again prompt me. It's not within this folder. So I'm going to go back to the BT portfolio, and here it is. So the profile. So I'm just going to tap on it and then press open, and it will upload here within the home page folder. All right. So wherever you want it to be uploaded, that's where you will go. If you realize I actually was in my ePortfolio materials when I uploaded the entire folder, and because I want to upload a specific file within the home page folder, I go to the home page and include that. So those are the steps that it takes to actually upload an entire folder or to actually upload a single file into your G Drive. All right, so I'm going to go about creating the ePortfolio using Google Sites. So simple way to find Google Sites is just to search in the Google search engine. So here it is at the top. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on that option for me to go in. So to start a new site, I'll see blank team, portfolio, events, and I can also click on template gallery to actually look at some template. But the main one that we tend to use is the blank one, creating it from scratch. And your recent sites will be shown below. No, this is not the email that I'm going to be using to create my ePortfolio from. So we normally use a special one to create the ePortfolio because it does take a lot of space. You don't want to be using your personal email for that. So I'm going to click on this icon here. Once I click on it, it should give me the list of emails that are available on this window. So I'm going to select St. Catherine Mentors, and it will open in a new tab. So I'm going to close out the first Google Sites that's there. So once you're doing this for the first time, you will see the welcome message. And as you saw a while ago, I had to switch over because the default email is the one that is going to open in. So let me just scroll back to the top. This one has no sites. So I'm going to select blank. So once I select blank, it is going to carry me to an area where I can actually edit. So start from scratch, as mentioned before, creating my ePortfolio. So a few things that we should have in mind, as was stated, earlier on up is to actually have the color scheme in mind. So everything we're creating will be using that color, so there's consistency. So just let's go through a few little things. So you have on a title site, this is where you're going to put the document's name, and it will appear here as a site name. Anything you want to put in your banner, you can add it here. You also have insert, so you can insert a text, image. Now, if I click on this, I'll have upload or select upload from my computer or select from my drive. Then I have embed. Embed is where if I want to write a link to a particular site, I can actually embed it. And I also have drive. Similarly, if I click on it, it allows for me to select what is on my drive, what is in the folders on my drive. So that's for the drive. You also have content blocks, so you can select them. So it kind of gives you a layout of how you can have your site so that it looks neat. So I'm not going to select them as yet. I'm just carrying you through what is there. So you have 1, 2 option. These are for pictures, 3 pictures and your text below, 2 pictures and text beside them, or 4 pictures or images. Now you have the collapsible groups. If you want to have information that collapse up and down, your table of content you want to create to show a linkage between all of your pages on your site. Now you have the image carousel. So sometimes when you look on site, you see images and an arrow going left or right, and it's basically sliding and show one image after the other. That's what the image carousel does. Then you have button. So if you want to create a button that persons can tap on to go somewhere, you can select that option. You have your divider. So if I have a lot of text and I want to start a new set of things, I can put a divider between them and continue. And then we have the placeholder similar to the content setting that is on top. And then you have other options that you can look at adding. But the key ones that we normally use would be these at the top and some of these at the bottom. I know I use the image carousel a lot and the button and dividers. So the next thing is your pages. Now for this moment, we only have the home page. So I can go about and create the 6 guiding principle pages. So all I'm going to do is to click on the plus. Now I can have a new menu section, a full page embed, a new link, or a page. So these are the options that are available to me when I click on or hover over the plus. So for now, I am going to just create the guiding principle, one of them, so that you have an idea of how to do it. So for new page, I'm going to write guiding principle number 1 and press done. And there it is. So you have, as you can see, it's creating my menu so that I have the options at the top. Now I can change how it appears, and I'll do that later on. Then I can add more. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the others, even though I said I would just do 1. So that's 2. Press it again. Number 3. Sorry about that. Then I'm going to go to guiding principle number 4. I'm just going to go through and ensure that all of my pages are created. Mind you, you can add other pages afterwards, but the key pages are the guiding principles. All right, so I'm finished. So I have my home. I have guiding principle 1, guiding principle 2, so forth. So I have those created, and then we have the themes. So we can actually select from this what theme we want to use throughout the e-portfolio. But I am going to be doing a little bit of a difference because I have created using Canva banners. So I'm not going to select a theme as yet. I'm just going to go ahead and do some adjustments. So I'm going to put in for untitled site. So this is St. Catherine High School Mentors. That's here, so the name of it. Now when I hover over it, you realize that you have add logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on the add logo, so it's going to come up as a brand image. Now the logo allows for me to upload or select. As we know, upload means that it would be on my local drive and I want to put it onto the internet, and select it if it is in my G drive. So I'm going to upload because the logo is on my computer. So I'll give it some time to do what it needs to do. So it's going to search for it. So let me look in the home tab, home page. Here's the logo that we'll be using. So once selected, it comes up, and these are the colors that will be used for the theme based on what is on the logo. So I'll just allow for those to stay. And that is how I add my logo. So I'm going to close that out. Now, if you look, you realize that the menu is created, and when I hover over more, I'll see the other options. So that's if I want at the top. I can change it, however, and go on to navigation and change it from top to side. So it appears at the side, and I can change the color of the menu. So it can be white or it can also be black. So that's up to me. So let's put it to white so that it kind of take away from the background of the logo. All right. So I close that. So this is when it's to the side. So you can decide how you want to do it, if you want it at the top or you want it at the bottom. So I'm going to stick with it at this side. All right, so that part is finished. So I've included my name and I've also included the logo. Now I'm going to jump over because as you can see, it's on the guiding principle 2. That's not where I want it to be. It would be on the home, but it will not change because, or affect it in any way, because this is what is going to be on every single page. So on every single page, you will see the menu at the top and you will see the name of the site. So it doesn't matter if it was created on a different page, it will appear on the home page. So my focus will be on the home page for now. So I've gone through and include my logo and the name of the page. Now for here, it has where I can type in the title of my homepage, but for me, it's a preference. So you can go ahead and type it in and create your own, changing the type and the font style and the color and so, but I tend to create graphics for it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose the image for it. Now I can again upload or select. So I believe the background is in my drive. So I can actually go to gallery, by URL, search, album or Google Drive. So I have options. I can search on the internet and get a background for it, or from the gallery. So I'm going to go to the G Drive, open the folder and open homepage. So when I go through homepage, I should see the banner that I had selected. Now I'm going to select and it should insert it. Now this is a GIF, so it does have some amount of movement. So this that is here in front of it, I don't want it anymore. So I can just click on it and select delete. This, as you can see, I can reset it or change the header type. So if I change header type, I can set it as a cover. I can set it as a large banner or a banner or title only. All right. So no, I'll just keep it at banner. So that's how you change the type that you're using, the header type. Now this is very pale, So I'm going to change that from being that pale. So I'll hover and ensure that I remove the readability adjustment. One of the reasons why it has that is if I had actually typed words and have a picture at the back, but this is what I'm going to be using as my header. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove it. So once I remove it, you can see that it's much clearer. I can also anchor the image. So I can click here. If I click on that, it moves it a bit. So I'm going to center it. I'm going to leave it at center so that it can show everything. All right. So again, I can change and make it a little bigger if I want it to be. So I can do cover or large banner. So I'm going to leave it at that. So that's how you put in your header. So I'm just going to go through and add some things to the page. So below this, I want to include my welcome. So to do that, you can type your welcome and add your image, a picture of yourself, or you can create again in Canva your welcome banner. So I'm going to be looking for it and insert it. So I can go to insert, I can select image. If I select image, I can go again, upload or select. So I'm going to be uploading it from my folder. So upload. So here it is. So here's the homepage folder that I'm using. And I'm going to look for my welcome banner. And so here it is. So once it's created, you will realize that it's very small and I want it to be much bigger. So there are options that are available to crop. This is also to uncrop. This is if I want to actually use it as a button. So I can use that image to click and go to another web page or another part of my e-portfolio. I can delete. And then I have more option if I want to replace the image, whether by uploading or selecting from my drive or from online. And I can add my text or caption in case the picture is not coming up for the alternative text that will tell what is there. So I'm just going to expand. So here we go. So I've expanded it. So let's say I leave it at that. So what I can do is hold down on it. So I'm going to drag it so that it centers. So I release, and that is how I put in an image. Again, I can crop the image if I want. So this is if you want to crop it. I'm not going to. Or I can select the uncrop, and so it shows everything. No section is removed. All right, so I have my welcome message. Now, as you can see, there's some white spaces behind it. I can change and remove the white spaces and put a gray by selecting the style. So I can do style 2, so it removes any form of color. So if I have a theme, it will have that color behind it. I can take it off, or I can actually have a different color behind it instead of the white. Or use an image. So I'm going to make it blank. Or if you're more comfortable, you can make it larger. All right, so the next thing that I am going to do after that welcome is to add my profile. So again, click on where you want to go. Then I go to Drive. After I go to Drive, it's going to bring me to my folder. I double tap my folder and I'm going to go to the home page folder, double tap on it. Once I double tap on it, I'm going to look for the file that I need to add. Click on it once and it will have insert. Select insert and it's now in. Again, they tend to come in small, so you can actually hover on it, hover it, or click on it, sorry, and you'll get the corners highlighted and you pull from the corners instead of the sides. The sides tend to distort, so you can pull from the corner. So here I'm from the corner, so I've enlarged it. So it has caused some part of the document to be cropped. So again, we can go back and select uncropped so that it ensures that everything is shown. All right. So if you look, we have put in our header, and then we have put in our welcome, and we have placed our profile. So you can add to your home page things that are necessary or what is instructed to be added to it. So those are some of the things that I've included. The last set of things that I'm going to put on this page is actually the table of content to go to the other pages on the site. So what I'm going to do is first put a text box. So I'm going to select text box. It's normal text. I can change that to title or heading or subheading. Now, when it's on heading, it means that if for some reason I want to go specifically to that and I want a link to it, it would be best to have heading there. So I'm just going to leave it as heading. I can change the font style. So let's say let's change it. Hover over it, and I'm going to select bold. So this would be my table of content. Again, you can use Canva or any other graphics platform to create a heading. So I'm going to center it. So I've clicked on the align. So I'm going to center it. I'm going to increase the font style. So let's increase it some more. All right, that's a little bit too big. So 48. I can italize it, I can underline it, I can also change the color of it. If it's not a part of this color scheme that I'm working with, I can change that. I can also create a link, use it as a link by tapping on the option to add a link. I can delete it, as well as I can go ahead and change the space in between them. I can indent it, increase or decrease. I can strike it out, or I can just clear the format. So I've placed my heading. So I'm going to add some buttons there so that I can create links to the other pages. So I'm just going to go to image, and I'm going to go select on my drive. So we're going to start with 1. I can select multiple, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and press insert. So all 6 of them would come up. I could have used my content block to actually do that, but it's up to me how I want it. These are very simple, so you can add them, and then so let us just try them to show you. So you can click the plus to add. So we're going to select an image from the drive. So let's go to 1 and insert. So I'd have to do them individually, and then I can delete these extra boxes that are there because I won't need them. So I can delete. So this is how you can keep the blocks in place, but you don't have to use these. You can just insert them, and it's as simple as that. So I don't need this, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete it because I've already inserted the buttons. So again, my color coordination, the color scheme that I'm working with, if you look on throughout the work, you recognize that it's the same color scheme I've been working with. All right, so I'm going to go from 1. So once I click on guiding principle 1, I'm going to click on the insert link. Once I click on it, it is going to give me this site. So the different pages on this site. Now, if I wasn't using that, I could have pasted the actual link to where the document is or the page is. I could do that. So I'm just going to go ahead for now and select. So once I select the page, I am going to apply, do the same with this one. So I'm going to apply page 2, click on this one, insert link, go to page 3, and then I'll do that for all of them. So we're going to go to 4. This is 5. Apply, and the last one would be 6. So again, you can have other pages on your site. So you can also place them in your table of content. So I am not going to publish it. That is when we're at the end, we'll actually publish it. But for now, what we're doing is just putting everything together and allow for persons to see our mentors or our HOD to see our progress over the time period. So as was shared, we can share with them. So right here, we can share. So before I get to the sharing, I can undo what I've done or redo, and I can preview what's been done. So I've not published it as yet, but I can definitely preview it. So here we go. So I can use it a phone, a tablet. This is how the tablet will have it. A computer. Sorry about that. And then we can close the preview. All right. And then I can add someone to it. So I can share with persons. So if I click on the share, similar to when we're creating the folders, I can add someone to it. So I can add an individual to the site itself so that they can also be able to view. So let's say I want to add my other account to it. I can put as an editor, notify by sending a message and send it off. As well as the general. For now, the draft is restricted, so only person who I've shared the link with can see it. And for the published site, I can decide to make it restricted or public. So when we get to that stage, we will definitely do that. Now you do have your settings, so you can go back and change your navigation that we did a while ago. We can add our brand with our logo, anything that you want person to see. You can customize your domain, which we have not done as yet because we have not published, and any amount of other things we can look at from there, as well as to add an announcement banner. So if we want something to run across the screen, we can add that. So I'm going to do one last thing before I end this part of it. So we can go through, look at the history, make copies, report any problem, take a tour, etc. And this would be to publish my site. But at this time, we're not going to publish it. As I said, we have other work to do on it. So I'm going to add a photo. So I go to the extreme bottom and I add a photo. So I can include name or created by St. Catherine High mentors, date. So we're in July. So we can spruce it up and make sure that the colors are a little bit different. We can increase the size. So it's still on small text. We can change the font style that's there. So we can scroll down and change that. You can change it, but be consistent in the font style that you're using throughout the document. So let's keep it normal. We can increase it a little bit, can italize it. We can also center it. Now at this point, you can actually put your email, additional email information there. contact information, but we can keep it as simple as possible. A quote you can put there. So this will appear on all of the pages. So let's give it a little background color. Now this will appear on all pages. So if I should go to GP1, you will see it at the bottom. All right, so that's how we create information for the home page. So just go ahead and start using Canva, post on my wall, any other platform that you have available that you can use to create your graphics so that your site can be appealing. And if you don't, or you don't have the experience, we have YouTube that you can watch to gain more information on how to do these graphical pieces, as well as you can keep it simple, just like I decided to do this with just text. Could have done a graphical piece with it, but to make it simple, we just keep that. So that is your home page for today.
Earlier on in the video, we were able to start the creation of the e-portfolio, and we had completed the home page as well as added new pages. And so at this moment, we're going to be going into guiding principle number 5 to actually continue to add the sources of evidence. However, I just want to point out to you that for the home page, we had gone ahead and adjusted the header type to large banner so that the banner can be shown much clearer and that none of it is actually cut off when previewing. So let us go to GP5. So pages, guiding principle number 5. And so nothing is on this page. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start to actually put on the content into the different areas. So first we're going to change the image. So we're going to click on the drop down menu. We're going to select the image. Now they're all in the folder on the G drive, and so we're just going to select from there. So that is why it was always recommended throughout the video that you actually collate and put them into the G drive so that once you start adding to the portfolio, you don't have to be going to your local drive to get any information. So let's go to GP5 and let us look for the banner. Here it is. So we're going to insert. It is going to adjust the readability so that the content that's here, the text that is here, is clearer. It's going to make it a little bit. It's going to ensure that it's so it has added it to the background, and so that this text can be seen clearly. What we're going to be doing is to actually remove the text. So I'm going to click on it, delete, and then we're going to adjust the readability of the text. All right, and then we're going to change the header to large banner. Awesome. We're going to then scroll down and add our title so that persons can be aware of what this GP is about. So we'll go to insert and we're going to place an image, select. We're going to look for that banner. So here we are. Here it is. Unselect this because it selected that one for us by error. So let's insert this one now. created the images or image, and then we're going to expand it. Center, so drag and release once you're comfortable with how much it's centered. And then there's a section that is cropped off, so we're going to uncrop it so that everything can be shown. Awesome. The next step is to actually start to sectionalize the information that we're going to put on the guiding principle number 5. So we're going to start off with a text box. We're going to change from normal text to title. Then we're going to change the font. Click once, because if you click twice, it's going to select more fonts. So we're going to scroll down, going for this Meriwether, and then bold. Change the size to 30. Then I'm going to center align it. So the interactions with parents and guardians. All right, so that's that. The next step is to actually start where adding the documents that I have, but I'm just going to first put a text to explain what will be placed below. Let me go and adjust this. Great, and then I'm going to write C call logs. Hello. All right. I'm going to bold that statement. And then I'm going to actually attach from the drive the call log. So I'm going to go to drive, then ePortfolio, GP5, and then I'm going to look for the call log. So this is my call log. So I'm going to remove the S from the call logs. And once I select that, it's supposed to indicate whether I want it to be inserted. So insert. Now allow for it to load. Now let's adjust this from call log to call log. And then I want to put this immediately beneath this statement. So I'm just going to drag it and release it. It's going to be very big for me. You can minimize how much it comes out. You can minimize it. All right. And then I can also center it. So I've given the title, a small sentence explaining what's below, and then I have the call log. So that should outline the interaction with parents. But I'm also going to add some more things that I would have done to interact with the parents. And those would be some WhatsApp messages that I've sent. So what I'm going to use for that is actually the carousel. So I'm going to use image carousel. So let's click here, image carousel. Now with the carousel, you have to have at least two images. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the add image button, and then I'm going to select my image. So let's find all of the messages that I would have sent out to parents. So here's one. Just click on all of them. And once I click on them, they will be selected. Insert. So I wait for them to be loaded onto the carousel. All right, so the images are there. I can, as I said, delete from the carousel. I can also add text to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want this image to be placed first, so I can click on it and drag it and then release it to where I want it to appear. And then I'm going to add text. Now I can add alternate text that in case it doesn't come up, a text come up on the screen in its place, or I add caption. This is what I want person to see below the image. So I can do that for every single image that I add to the carousel. And it's good to have captions for everything so persons understand what is actually being stated about each picture. Add caption, message, sent to parents, regarding the City and Guild examination. Okay, and then I'm going to go and select insert. So it doesn't give you a full length of the message and you're not able to uncrop. So the only way to actually fix the image carousel is to extend the images, but you can see that there are dots at the bottom to indicate that there are more than one. So let us just extend this a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to stop right there. So I could have extended that a little bit more, but I'm just going to stop right there. All right, so let me just scroll up a little bit. And if it's a case that I actually want to replace something within the image carousel, I can click on the settings button. And once I click on it, it will reopen the carousel and I can actually delete things from it or add more things to it. Once I've added things, I'll update. If I don't update, then those information will not appear in the ePortfolio when I'm through. So let's just cancel. All right, let me bring this over a little bit. And pull it out. Good. So I've minimized it and you can see some more of the text. The next thing that I'm going to also put up would be some videos that I sent out to parents. So I shared some videos regarding homework completion as well as how they can actually check their students' Google Classroom platform when we were online so that they can actually see the progress. So not everybody is au fait with the technology, and so those videos were created. So let me just put a text box right here. Now, once you put the text box, you realize it goes to a new area. Shared with parents. It's going to go to a new area, but that's okay for now because I'm going to adjust it afterwards. So I'm just going to go to Drive now, and I'm going to go to my portfolio, GP5, video sent, and I'm going to select the videos that I sent. So this was the homework support as well as how they can actually view their Google Classroom to see what they have submitted. All right, so once you do that, you recognize that it actually placed information below the text. So it creates new blocks, and I don't want it to create the new blocks. So it means that I'm going to have to do some shuffling around. So what I'm going to do is to reduce the size of the window. So I'm going to zoom in so that I can actually see the entire content. And then I'm going to actually adjust it. So what I want the images to be, the videos to be beside the messages that I sent out. So let's just drag them down. Drag this one as well, and I'm going to put it immediately below it. And I'm also going to move the text and put it above the videos. You can adjust and bring over the stuff that you have on the page, all the evidence. You can adjust them according to how you're comfortable or allowing them to be aesthetically pleasing. So you're going to just adjust them accordingly. All right, so I can even bring this over a little bit. Yes. All right. So I'm going to zoom back out. Once I zoom back out, I can also change this to a subheading or heading. Let's put a subheading. Change that. All right, so I've changed those, and then I can scroll down and look at it. Now what I'm going to do is to utilize the space right here so that there's not a lot of white spaces. So as you can see, these two are joined. So if I want to make an adjustment, I'd have to just double tap on it so that it individually select the video that I want to adjust. So I'm going to go and add the image here. So let's go to image, select, and let me look for the tips that I sent to parents regarding homework submission and homework support. Scroll down, here it is, and insert. It's in a new block as was stated before, so I just drag it up to here. Now once you drag it to where something else was, it normally would align to it. So it's going to take on the same size as what was there before, but you can expand it. This one is a picture image, so I can actually uncrop it so that everything is shown in that. Unfortunately, I can't do that with the carousel as I had stated before. All right, so let us just take a quick look at what we have done. We've placed in our banner the title, and we have started to add our text as well as documents from our drive, the image carousel, as well as some videos we have included. So what I'm going to be doing now is to just put a divider beneath it. And then I move into my community involvement. So let me go back and insert a text box. And this would be my community involvement. So I'm going to add, so I'm using the content blocks now. So we are going to have 5 pictures. We're going to have 5 pictures. So I'm going to have 3 first and then 2 afterwards. Then let's just scroll up, tap on the plus button, and we're going to select the image from the drive again. So I'm going to be looking for a poster. So this would be the Labor Day poster, right? I can uncrop it. So I'm going to actually press on the add right here to add more pictures of the Labor Day activity that was done. So I'm going to look for some more pictures. So with this content block, I'm going to have to select one at a time to be added to each block. Select image, scroll down. This would be the second one. So I can also expand them so that they're in the same size. Now beneath them, I have click to edit text. So I can actually write something. So this is the flyer of Labor Day activity at Seymour Almond Basic School 2022. All right, so I can add more text to all of it, but there is another text box here. So this would have been the title and this would be the body. So I can just click on it, and once I double tap to ensure that it isolates them, I press delete, and I'm going to do the same with these. I can use this one as well. Click in it or click on it and select delete. Now I can add more text to it. So right here, I am removing paint from the swings, and I'll be doing the same thing here. So I can just change and add. I'm going to just put old paint. All right, so I have my text, I have my image, and I have the necessary things for the content. So I'm going to go down to where there's actually 2, and I'm going to do the same thing. So you can use the different features of Google site and make your e-portfolio very attractive and allow for persons to understand your journey and to build your brand. So I'm going to add the other 2 images. So this would be one where I'm painting, and another one I'm looking at the camera person while they're painting, and this one I'm focused on my painting. So I can write my statement. So just pause for a picture. So we'll delete this one. You can click here, double tap, delete, or you can click on the inside. So I'm not going to add any text right here for now, just to ensure that you understand the concept throughout. So let's continue. So I'm going to add a divider here, seeing that I'm through. As you go through the years, you will be adding more things, and you will remove some of your pictures, put them in folders, and then connect to the folder via the e-portfolio that other persons can see, because you don't want to put all of the pictures onto the page. You want to make sure that the more relevant or more current ones are there. And so we're going to move into PTA meetings. So again, I'm going to put in my text box. So this would be PTA meetings. I'll be putting up my evidence to support the fact that I actually attended PTA meetings. So I'm going to be putting up 2 images first. So let us just select images, select. So I'm going to look for them again in the drive. So this would have been a meeting that I attended via Zoom. And let me look if I see another one. Here's another one, the participants list. I'm going to insert. Again, I can do the uncrop. So here it is, uncrop. And then I can also put in a slide. So what I did was to actually create a slide to show all of the meetings that I went to. So that's GP5. Let us look for the slide. That's PTA meeting. So if you recognize, some of the things I actually placed in subfolders so that it's also easier to find them. So I'm going to drag this up, drag it here so that it's right there with the others. So I'm through with that part. So I'm then going to do a divider, do another text box. So as you can see, all I'm doing is just arranging GP5 to make sure that it showcases all of the things that will cover the teaching standards. And maybe one year I don't have everything, but as I progress, as I grow in the area, in education, in the classroom, I'm able to add more things. I'm able to add more source of evidence to show that I am growing, because you may not be able to get it in the first year, but even though you want to maximize on your credits, you may not be excellent or above expectation for everything. So as you go, you're growing and you can add more to the portfolio. So let's put certificates of appreciation. These were sent to parents for their support over the years. So you can actually include them. So I'm going to select image, insert, and I'm going to look for some of the sample that I actually sent out. So this would be one, another, and another one. So let's insert. So I'd have 3 of them. Now what I'm going to be doing is just pull this one, this one here. I want to add a button here. I want to show you how to actually create your buttons, because you don't have to put everything as I'd stated before. So you'd want persons to actually click and go to your drive to find a folder with more information in it. So what I'm going to be doing is to actually create the button. But the first thing I am going to do is to go to my drive and get the link to that particular file. What you learned before when we used the images to create buttons for the table of content, we actually just click on the pages, but because the link is not an exact page, it's actually a document, a folder, what you're going to have to do is to get the link for that particular folder. So let me go and get that. So I want the link for the evidence that I actually shared the certificates with the parents. So let me go. So we have get link. So we're going to select that. After we select it, we're going to copy the link. So copy link, link copied, and we're going to press done. I'm going to go back to the ePortfolio and I'm going to select button. When I select button, it's going to ask me for a name. So evidence that parents received the certificates. I could have called it something else or shortened the term. What you would do is actually select pages, but unfortunately, it's not a page. It's actually a folder in the G Drive. So you're going to go through and we're going to right click and paste, or I could have just selected Control and V to paste. And then I press insert. So I'm going to drag it up here. I'm going to extend it so that it can be seen. So I've created a link with this button. So once person click on it, it will go to the folder and they're able to see. I can write my additional text that I want to support. Why did I give these certificates and give details about them and the individuals? I could add it right here. The next thing that we're going to do is to actually put another divider. And I'm going to be doing Parent Day consultation. So I'm just going to show the register for the Parent Day. So let me just add the text. And I'm going to put Parents Day consultation day. And this was on March 1st, 2022. Now I'm going to go to the drive and get that particular image, or better yet, let me select image. Here it is. So I'm going to place that there. Connect it to the title. Sorry. It's a bit bigger than I want it to be. So let us just minimize that. Let me minimize the screen first. As you can see, I actually blur out some of the names because I don't want that information to be made public, as well as some signatures are on those documents. You don't want to disclose those information about your parents. So you actually can blur those. You have different softwares that you can use. You can use Paint before you upload them to the drive. So you can't adjust them while they're in the drive. It's best to adjust them before and then you upload them. So let me just minimize this a little bit more. And I'm going to put this into the center. Awesome. Double tap and uncrop. Awesome. And then the last thing I'm going to put in would have been some presentation. If I had taken pictures of the consultation day, I would have added it here as well. So let us just increase the size once more. And then the last thing I'm going to be doing on this page would be a presentation that was made to the parents. So let's put another text box. All right, so I've already placed the text, but I wanted it to be a title. So what I'll do is highlight and just go back, title, change the font style, change the font center. I've placed my text. So once I've placed my text, I'm going to just put in the actual presentation that I made. If I had the poster with my name on it to state that I'll be doing a presentation, if I had the agenda, I'd also put it here. But I'm just giving you some of the evidence that you can actually put up. So I'm just going to go to the drive and I'm going to select the presentation. Let me look for it. Now the presentation was on netiquette. This presentation was made, as stated before, at the Parent Appreciation Day, and it was on netiquette. So I was asked to do it to educate our parents on what's a social responsibility as they interact or use social media and other platforms while we were online. So I'm just going to put this here. That would be some of the sample that I would actually share with you on GP5. So let us preview and see how it looks. So preview. Let's scroll down. So the menu on the side, and then we have the GP. We have all of it being shown. I could have expanded this a little bit more. So as you look at the preview, you can decide what you could have done better or differently. And so we have all of these information arranged and you can go through. Now I could have dragged these down a little bit more just to make sure that it is aesthetically pleasing. And then I add all of the other information. So that's how you can actually add and utilize the features that are on the Google site. All right, so we have added information to our homepage and the guiding principles. So I want to inform you that there are some sub-pages that we'd want to add to our ePortfolio to speak more about us, about where we work, about our vision, our educational philosophy, or resume, as well as contact information, because those wouldn't fall under the GPs. And so I'm going to show you how to actually create sub-pages under home to showcase those, or even under a particular GP, you can put a sub-page. So to add a sub-page, you click on the three dots, the options, and select add sub-page. And you're going to put, the first one would be about me. Please note that it's going to keep the banner for the home page. So all you're going to have to do is go through and follow the steps of changing. So we're going to do another add subpage, place of employment. So this is where you're going to speak about where you're currently working, the mission, vision of the school, as well as the principal, the chairman, or any information that you can give, the backdrop, the history of the school, pictures of your school, if they have YouTube channels or Facebook platforms, or if they do have a website, you can add those to it. So just speak about the school and any role that you play while working at the school. So let's add another subpage, and this one would be your vision and educational philosophy. Then, as you can see, it kept the banner for the home page. You're going to add, and then we have curriculum vitae or resume if you wish to put that. And the last one that we're going to put would be our contact information. Great. So we have all of our subpages, and then we have the guiding principles. Now, if you click to the menu, you will see an arrow beside home, and then you will have the content for there. As I stated before, you can add to the GP a subpage. Now, once you have done that, don't forget that you are to go back to the home page and you're going to have to add under the table of content those subpages. So like what we have for GP 1 to 6, you can create your buttons, follow the steps, and add those actual subpages to it. You can put the link there, but to keep consistent, you should put your blocks and make sure that you maintain your color scheme. Seeing that we have added everything to our page, the final thing that we'll do is to publish. So I'm going to select publish, and for the web address, it will ask you for a name at the end. It will suggest a name for you, but you can change it and add your name or a statement, and it will add it to make the URL for your page. Now you can make it easier for persons to visit it, so you can have your own domain. And so we can also have who can visit your site or view your site, and that we can manage that as well. So we can decide who can actually view. So persons with access, general, so the draft is restricted, only persons that you have given access can see the draft. But once it is published, the public, so anyone on the internet can actually view. So we're finished, and we are going to then publish. Once you publish, it will tell you that it's successful and if you want to view your site. So that will be open in a new tab, and you will see your menu. It's actually on this side. Let's scroll down. Here you go. And you can click on the pencil to actually make adjustment to it. All right. So that would be your published site. Let us go back to the editable version. If you do not want your site to be published anymore, you can click on the arrow beside publish and you can select unpublished. All right. And once it's unpublished, no one can actually see it. Now, if you want to view the site, you can select this option. If you made some adjustment to it, while you're doing the adjustments, you don't have to unpublish. All you need to do is to select review changes, and you can press publish again, so that in case you added more information to your site, you will have to republish so that persons can see the update. All right. And you can go back to the published site. So once you're at this stage, it means that you are well on your way. So we're looking at the new features that Google has added to Google's site. And those new features are Spacer as well as social link. So previously in the sections that we're going through the different features, those were not added, but social link was added around August, and then Spacer was added afterwards. So your Spacer is actually for spacing feature. So let's say I want this to have a little bit more space in between the blocks that are there. I can just click on the one that I want the spacer to appear after, and then I click spacer, and there it is. So it's not something I can add any content to. It's just for white space. So I can drag it if I need to put it somewhere else. There you go. I can put it back. Now I'm going to undo because I don't like what it did here. So I can click on my undo button, or I can actually delete it if I don't need it. The other feature that it has is actually the social link. Previously, when you wanted to add your Facebook, you had to get a small icon or an image, and then you create like a button for it. But with the social link, you can actually just simply go through and add the images and add the link to the pages. So I'm going to go into my footer because I want my social links to be on all pages right here, and then I'm going to click on social links. So icons for common social sites will appear automatically after saving. So I'm just going to click on the image right here. Once I click on it, I don't have any to upload, and so I'm going to select from what is there. So I'm going to just It's not going to be in my Drive. It's not going to be in Link. It's going to be in Google Images. So I'm going to search the internet for it. So I'm going to be putting my LinkedIn one first. So let's type in LinkedIn logo and look. So there are many options that are there. I'm going to go for a more circular one, and I like this one. So I'm just going to tap on it and then insert. Once I select insert, it should come up. So here it is, and then I need the actual link for it. So I'm going to go over to my LinkedIn page, and I am going to go onto my profile. I'm going to go on my profile, and I'm going to look in the URL section for the link to my profile, so that when person wants to find out about me, I'm going to copy, Control and C, or right click and copy. Once I copy, I'm going to go back to the page, and I am going to right click and paste, or I'm going to Control and V, and there it goes. So I can delete it if I don't want to. So I can add more. So I'm going to go ahead and add my Facebook. So if you have your Instagram, you can also do that. If you have a YouTube channel, you can do that. So I'm going to be adding my YouTube. So I'm going to look for Google Images and then YouTube logo. Search for it, and then I'm going to go with another circular one based on the fact that I chose a circular one earlier. So I'm going to select this one, or let's see, this one is in, it looks similar to the LinkedIn that I had selected. So I'm going to insert, and once I insert that, I am going to then go over to my YouTube channel, and on my profile, I'm going to look for the URL, and I'm going to copy that, Control and C, then go back here and click on the link and Control and V. And so I've created 2 social media links. So as I said, I can add my Facebook, I can add my Instagram. Once they're educationally related, I can actually add them. If I want to put more, so let's say I put my Facebook here and I want to put my Instagram, I can just click on add link, and it allows for me to add some more. I can delete if I don't need them, and then I go ahead and I insert. Now, where I wanted it, that's not where it actually placed it. So let us drag it up and put it there. So it is right here. I'm going to go in and edit here, so it will appear, or let's see if I want to put it above it instead. So there we go. And then we just center this a little bit. Yes, center it, and that's it. So I've now added social media links to my page. So let us go ahead and preview. Let me close those links at the top, so that once I click on the preview, I can actually see it. So I'm just going to scroll down, all the way down, and there we go. So I have my links, they're there. So I'm just going to tap on it, and it should open my LinkedIn profile. So it's redirecting to that page. And then I am going to, while that is loading, I'm going to go to the YouTube, click on that. It's going to redirect as well, and it should carry me to the pages that I have linked it to. So let us look at it, and there you go. So you're able to see the actual profile for the individual. Let's go to the YouTube and see if that one works. And there we go. So those are the new features. As you would know that many times Google add things to their different platform for persons to be more comfortable. And those 2 features were the newest ones that they added. So let's close that out, and we would republish our work just to show the update that is there.